To know what supernatural stimulus is requires to first know what is a natural stimulus. We humans have senses: sight, hearing, touch, smell, and taste. Senses are like a radar that our brain uses to look for specific information from the world around us. Example: eyes. Eyes are the type of radar that is looking for the information that stands out from the environment. Specifically, they are looking for the information about light, size, and movement. Light is about how much visible or invisible something is. Size is about how big or small it is, and movement about how fast or how slow something moves. Going into more details, light can be further organized into hue, saturation, and brightness. Hue is the type of color itself, for example, red, green, and blue. Saturation is about how strong or dull the color looks like, and brightness is about how light or dark the color is. These are different groups of information our eyes, like a radar, is looking for. Why this is important? Because stimulus is information causing a reaction. All of these forms of information, hue, saturation, brightness, size, movement, are information causing your brain to react. But not all information causes the same reaction. It's a specific kind of information that causes a specific kind of reaction. And it was a specific kind of information that created a specific kind of reaction called addiction. These are the specific information our eyes are looking for. Hue. The most noticeable colors for our eyes are red, green, and blue, where our eyes are most sensitive to the green color. For further example, we'll choose the color red. Saturation. The less saturation the color red has, the less noticeable the color red becomes. The more saturation the color red has, the more noticeable the color red becomes. Brightness. The less brightness the color has, the less noticeable the color becomes. The more brightness the color has, the more noticeable the color becomes. Size. The bigger the object is, the more noticeable the object becomes. The smaller the object is, the less noticeable the object becomes. Movement. The less something moves, the less noticeable the object becomes. The more something moves, the more noticeable the object becomes. But this is just a red circle. Let's try something else. Let's try apples. A tree with apples. Now, look with your eyes at the letter X and observe the tree with apples with your peripheral vision. So let's see. Hue. When we add colors to this picture, we will immediately see which apples are red and which are green. Most likely we are noticing the green one since it is the color that our eyes are most sensitive to look for. Saturation. If we take the saturation from the apples, they become less noticeable. The more we increase the saturation, the more noticeable the apples become. Brightness. If we are looking at the apples during a day or during a night, you will notice the apples much better during the day. Size. Even though the green apple is more visible due to its color, if we make it smaller, it will become less visible than the red one. Same goes the other way. If we make red apple bigger than the green apple, the red apple will be more visible. Movement. Right now the green apple is less noticeable because the red one is much bigger. But the moment this apple starts to fall, our eyes will notice it and track its movement. Our eyes will look for this information whether we like it or not. These information are important because they help us to survive. In the apple example, these information help us to know which apple is fresh and which one is spoiled. Information causing reaction, apple causing hunger. These information are commonly found in the nature, making them a natural stimulus. But if we artificially improve the apples, making them more saturated, much more brighter, more bigger, we make them super apples. They don't just give you a hunger, but they give you a super hunger. And this is the difference between a natural stimulus and a supernatural stimulus. Stimulus is information causing a reaction. Natural stimulus is information found naturally in nature causing a natural reaction. Supernatural stimulus is artificially improved, unnatural information causing an unnatural reaction. Here's where the problem starts. We can artificially change the apples, but we cannot adjust our natural reaction to them. Meaning that when we face a decision between an artificially super apple and a normal apple, we will always prefer the artificial one. Taking this into the world of pornography, we have to decide whether to masturbate over some pixels on your screen or to make love with a real person. You will always prefer porn over a real intimacy. A man who discovers and named this effect a supernatural stimulus is called Nico Tinbergen. He, and later other people, made a few experiments on this effect that show how you can manipulate animals' behavior to the point where they will start to do all kinds of crazy behavior. Herring gull chicks that were pecking a fake bird head with a big red spot, thinking it's a parent to whom they are signaling that they are hungry. Three-spine stickerback male fish that attack a plastic diamond-shaped object with a big red bottom, thinking it's another male. Dual male beetles trying to mate with a bottle of beer, thinking it's a female. And they were doing this while getting burned alive under a scorching sun. Below this video are links for these examples so you can see for yourself how crazy this can get. Now you might be wondering, what can we do to not choose supernatural stimulus and choose the natural one? Simple. Avoid access to porn as much as possible. You don't choose porn because you are weak. You choose porn because you can. The best way to avoid watching porn is to never get into a decision where porn is one of the options. Ideally, therefore, to have a zero access to porn. Let's say you notice something that reminds you of porn. This specific information causes a specific reaction called urge. And in the next chapter, I'll tell you more about urges, what they are, how they tend to behave, and most importantly, how you can manage them.